Long before any city crowned the hills of Greece, when earth and sky still trembled in their newborn dance, the cosmos was born from a yawning void called chaos. From this primal emptiness came Gaia, the earth, firm and generous, and Uranus, the star-strewn sky that arched above her. Gaia and Uranus joined in a timeless embrace, and their union begot the first generations of divine beings, the Titans, Oceanus, whose flowing currents encircled the world, Hyperion, the luminous watcher of the heavens, Rhea, the mother of gods yet to come, Cronus, whose restless ambition would reshape the cosmos, and their mighty siblings, each a force of nature and fate. In those early days, Uranus panicked at the strength of his offspring and forced many of them back into Gaia's depths. Gaia, enraged by this imprisonment, fashioned an adamantine sickle and persuaded her son Cronus to strike. When he did, Uranus fell from the sky, and the Titans emerged triumphant, condemning their father to the dark abyss of Tartaros. Cronus took the throne as king of the cosmos, yet he feared a prophecy that foretold his own overthrow by a child of his blood. To prevent destiny, he swallowed each newborn the moment they were born. Rhea, Cronus's wife, watched helplessly as her first 5 children, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, were consumed by their own father. When Rhea's 6th child, Zeus, was born, she resolved to save him. With a mother's cunning, she journeyed to Crete in secret, giving Cronus a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes. The Titan, none the wiser, swallowed the decoy while Rhea hid her son in a cave on Mount Ida. There, the divine goat Amalthea nourished him with her milk, and the Curetes armored, dancing nymph warriors clashed their spears and shields to muffle the infant's cries. Under their care, Zeus grew in strength and wisdom, learning the laws of the universe and vowing to rescue his siblings. When Zeus came of age, he enlisted the Titanomachy, goddess of counsel, to trick Cronus into disgorging his children. A bitter drink rendered Cronus helpless, and one by one he vomited forth the 5 Olympians and the stone that had posed as his son. Gaia, Zeus, and his freed siblings then waged the Titanomachy, a decade-long war in which Zeus freed the 100-handed Centimanes and the Cyclopes from Tartarus. In gratitude, the Cyclopes forged for Zeus the thunderbolt, for Poseidon a trident, and for Hades a helm of darkness. Armed thus, the Olympians triumphed and cast the Titans back into the pit, sealing them behind impenetrable gates of adamant. With cosmic order restored, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades cast lots to divide dominion. Zeus claimed the sky, the realm of lightning and thunder, Poseidon received the seas, rivers, and horses, and Hades, the underworld's shadowed kingdom of the dead. Gaia, having birthed all, remained beneath their feet, supporting the mortal world, where humans, beasts, and plants would flourish under Olympian vigilance. Mount Olympus rose beyond mortal sight as the great palace of the gods. There, Zeus held court in a golden hall, attended by his queen, Hera, a guardian of marriage and childbirth, though her heart burned often with jealousy at Zeus's numerous affairs. Their tumultuous union mirrored the volatility of storm clouds, thunderous quarrels, and swift reconciliations. Yet their might did not overshadow the other gods, each of whom embodied a facet of the world or human experience. Athena sprang fully armed from Zeus's brow, a goddess of wisdom, weaving, and just warfare. Apollo, radiant god of music, prophecy, and healing, guided the chariot of the sun across the dawn sky, while his twin sister, Artemis, hunted in moonlit forests, protector of wildlife and childbirth. Ares, the embodiment of war's fury, fueled conflicts wherever swords clashed. Aphrodite, born of sea foam, wove the irresistible power of love and desire. Hephaestus, lame yet ingenious, crafted divine weapons and city gates in his volcanic forges, and Hermes, wing-footed messenger, ferried souls and secrets between worlds. Demeter tended the fruits of the earth, teaching mortals the mysteries of agriculture, while Dionysus, god of wine and ecstasy, loosened mortal cares in the vine's embrace. But Olympus was only one stage of divine drama. On earth, Gaia's children, the mythical beasts and mortal heroes, etched their own legends. Prometheus, the Titan blacksmith who sighed with Zeus, stole fire from the forge of the gods and gifted it to humanity. Zeus, enraged, bound Prometheus to a rocky crag in the Caucasus, where an eagle tore at his liver each day, only for it to regrow each night. Even so, Prometheus's gift ignited civilization, hearth fires, metallurgy, and art among men. From mortal seeds sprang heroes whose exploits bridged earthly and divine realms. Perseus, aided by Athena's shield and Hermes' winged sandals, flew to slay the Gorgon Medusa, her hair of vipers turned to stone, and rescued Andromeda from a sea monster's maw. Theseus journeyed into the labyrinth of Crete to defeat the Minotaur, the bull-headed offspring of Queen Pasiphae's unnatural union with a sacred bull. With swift sword and Ariadne's guiding thread, he emerged victorious, freeing Athens from yearly tribute. In the fields of Troy, the greatest war in myth raged. Paris, Prince of Troy, awarded Aphrodite the golden apple of beauty, accepting her promise that he would win the love of the fairest mortal, Helen. Abducted from Sparta, Helen's departure incited the Achaean kings to lay siege to Troy for 10 years. Among them, the wrathful Achilles, half-divine son of the sea nymph Thetis, slew Hector in single combat, but an arrow to his heel, his mother's sole unprotected spot, sealed his fate. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, conceived the stratagem of the wooden horse, filled with warriors, which brought Troy's walls crashing down. Yet his own homecoming took a decade, as he battled the Cyclops Polyphemus, outwitted the enchantress Circe, resisted the siren's song, and navigated the whirlpools of Scylla and Charybdis before reclaiming his throne through stealth and guile. Parallel to these exploits, other tales tugged at the fabric of myth. Orpheus, supremely gifted in song, ventured into the underworld to retrieve his bride, Eurydice, bitten by a serpent on their wedding day. His music softened Hades' heart, and the god of the dead agreed to release Eurydice, on one condition: Orpheus must not look back until they reached the upper air. But just steps from freedom, he glanced, and his beloved vanished forever, lost to darkness. His grief haunted men and gods, reminding all that love and loss dance hand in hand. The story of Demeter and Persephone explained the cycle of seasons. When Hades abducted Persephone to be his queen in the underworld, Demeter's sorrow withered the earth. Only when Zeus compelled Hades to return Persephone for part of each year did life bloom again. Thus, every spring and summer, the earth rejoiced in Persephone's return. In autumn and winter, it mourned her descent. Legends of hubris, pride that challenges the gods, warned mortals of divine retribution. King Sisyphus, crafty and deceitful, twice outwitted Zeus, only to be condemned in Tartarus to roll a massive boulder uphill forever, the rock tumbling back each time. Tantalus, who fed his son to the gods in a grotesque feast, was tormented in the underworld by waters that receded whenever he tried to drink and branches of fruit that rose beyond his grasp. Eternal thirst and hunger. Daedalus, master craftsman of Athens, built the labyrinth to contain the Minotaur but incurred King Minos's wrath. Imprisoned with his son Icarus on Crete, he fashioned wings of feathers and wax. Warnings issued, Daedalus soared safely. But Icarus, intoxicated by flight's freedom, flew too near the sun. The wax melted, and he plunged into the sea, naming the waters thereafter the Icarian Sea. An enduring lesson on the perils of overreaching ambition. Even the underworld's realm housed stories of redemption and transformation. Psyche, a mortal of surpassing beauty, was wed to an unseen husband who visited only by night. When curiosity drove her to glimpse him, she lost his trust and endured trials set by Aphrodite. Yet her perseverance and devotion eventually won divine favor, and she was granted immortality to dwell beside Eros, god of love, an immortal testament to love's trials and triumphs. Across the Greek world, mortals honored the gods with temples and rituals. The Pythian games at Delphi, where victors in music and sport sought Apollo's blessing. The Eleusinian mysteries near Athens, secret rites celebrating Demeter and Persephone. And the great Olympian Games in Elis, held every 4 years to honor Zeus, where heralded athletes strove for glory, forging unity among city-states. Through centuries of oral tradition, Homer's Iliad and Odyssey wove these tales into epic verse, while Hesiod's Theogony and Works and Days codified divine genealogies and moral teachings. Poets, playwrights, and artists drew on the myths. Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides penned tragedies rooted in divine and mortal conflict. Vase painters captured labors of Heracles and the loves of gods. Sculptors carved marble statues of deities whose presence seemed to breathe life. As Greek culture spread across the Mediterranean, these myths mingled with local legends, influencing Roman religion and shaping European art and literature for millennia. Even today, we read of Zeus's thunderbolts, Athena's counsel, and Prometheus's gift, finding in them echoes of our own aspirations and frailties. In every thunderclap, the memory of Zeus's rule trembles. In every spring bloom, the promise of Persephone's return sings. In every heroic quest, we glimpse the spark of mortal courage that first kindled beneath Olympus. Greek mythology endures as a tapestry of creation, power, folly, and redemption, stories that remind us how the ancient Greeks sought to explain the world around them and explore the deepest currents of the human soul. Through gods and heroes, they charted the heights of ambition and the depths of suffering, forging a legacy whose legends still speak across the ages.